I'm Ruth Woodruff, and welcome to In the English Corner. You're about to see one in a series of videos that I have created to help individuals improve their writing skills. If you're interested, you will find a link to some practice questions at the end of the video. I hope you find this helpful. Thank you.
A second very important use of the apostrophe is to demonstrate ownership. This means that something belongs to or is owned by someone else. Ask yourself who owns it. This will show you which noun needs the apostrophe. In order to show possession, you simply use the apostrophe S. For example, Sue's essay was finished before the due date, meaning the essay belongs to Sue or Sue owns the essay. So the apostrophe S is placed after the noun Sue. In the second example, Bob's new car already needs major repairs. Ask yourself, who owns the car? The answer is Bob, so the apostrophe S is placed after the noun Bob. Note that an apostrophe plus S is used to demonstrate possession or ownership even with a singular noun that already ends in an S. For example, Doris's dress cost her over $100. In this example, the name Doris already ends in an S, so you therefore must add an apostrophe S at the end of her name. Or in the second example, the boss's new office is on the top floor of the office tower. The word boss already ends in an S, so you add an apostrophe S to the word to make it possessive. When you have a plural noun that ends in an S, you simply use an apostrophe to show possession. Look at these examples. The first one, the student's answers were correct. You're referring to one student to show possession, therefore you use the apostrophe S. In the second example, the student's answers were all correct, and you're referring to all of the students. You would have to spell the word out as S-T-U-D-E-N-T-S, and the apostrophe goes at the end. In the third example, the manager ignored the employee's complaints. You're referring to one employee. To show possession, you would just add the apostrophe S to the word employee. In this last example, the manager ignored all of his employees' complaints. The plural noun is employees, meaning more than one, and therefore the apostrophe would go at the end of the word employees, which is the plural noun. Note, to make this rule easier and to make sure you're using the apostrophe properly, first find out which noun in the sentence indicates possession or ownership. That's known as the owner word. Then decide whether the noun is singular or plural. Then, the last step is to apply the correct rule for the apostrophe. Example, the teacher's classes were very quiet. If you're referring to one teacher, it would be the apostrophe S. In the second example, the teacher's classes were all in the auditorium, and you're referring to all the teachers in the school, you would write the word teachers and add the apostrophe at the end, because it's a plural noun. Note that sometimes when you add the apostrophe S to indicate ownership, the word that results may end in a double or even a triple S. You may either delete or keep the final S, leaving the apostrophe in place. Let's take a look at these examples. Using the word players. The players' scores have all been posted on the internet. The plural noun is players, and you could simply add the apostrophe, or it is also correct to say the players' scores have all been posted on the internet. You have the plural players, the apostrophe, and then you can add another S. The same in the second example with the plural noun students. In the first example, the students' report cards all had to be signed by the principal. You could simply put students and add the apostrophe, or the second example is correct as well. The students, ending in apostrophe, and then add the other S, report cards all had to be signed by the principal. Remember that the apostrophe must never be used to make a word plural. The plural of most words can be formed by simply adding an S. It is a very common error of many writers to confuse possessive and plural forms of nouns. To write the plural of a noun, simply add the S. To demonstrate possession, an apostrophe is needed. Let's take a look at this example to clarify. Jean's history notebook is covered with scribbles and drawings. Scribbles is simply a plural noun, more than one scribble. Drawings is a simple plural noun as well, meaning more than one drawing. is a verb. It ends in an S, but you never use an apostrophe with a verb. So then ask yourself, which word shows possession or ownership? Your answer would be Jean. Jean shows ownership because she owns the notebook. Therefore, the apostrophe is added to the noun Jean. Your answer would be Jean's history notebook is covered with scribbles and drawings. Also note that some singular nouns ending in the S or Z sound can be awkward sounding if another S is added. In this case, both answers are correct, but the final S may be dropped to make the pronunciation of the S easier. For example, many of Charles Dickens' novels have been made into movies. Dickens, the name, ends in an S. You could either say Charles Dickens' novels with the apostrophe at the end of his name, or you could say Charles Dickens's novels, but that does sound awkward, so the first example is a bit more simple. The apostrophe also has many other uses. For example, in a compound noun, which is a noun composed of more than one word, the apostrophe is placed in the last part of the noun to show possession, such as, this is my sister-in-law's house, or Jack in the boxes. When two or more nouns are used to demonstrate joint ownership, that is, there are two owners, the apostrophe will go with the last noun to show possession. This rule also applies to first names and to the names of organizations. Take a look at this example, Susan and Bob's condominium. The apostrophe would go on the second noun Bob, as Susan and Bob are joint owners of the condominium. Or the name of the company, Main Drug Mart, it would be Main Drug Mart's sale. If nouns are used to show separate ownership, however, you must use an apostrophe with each noun as shown in these two examples. Susan's and Melody's rooms, if each of these girls has her own room within the same house, you must put the apostrophe after each of the nouns. Or, Bob's and Bill's marks were posted. Each one has his own marks, therefore the apostrophe must go after each noun. You also use an apostrophe and an S to form the possessive form of indefinite pronouns. For example, one's beliefs, somebody else's book, and anybody's game. The apostrophe also has several special uses. 1. An apostrophe is used in expressions of time, as in, I asked my boss for a month's vacation. Another example is when they're used to pluralize letters, numbers, and words that don't normally have plurals, as in, he stutters when he pronounces his M's, or your sevens are not written very clearly, or he used too many buts in his sentence. A third example would be when apostrophes are omitted in numbers, as in, he graduated in the class of 92. Would you like to test your understanding further of the use of the apostrophe? If so, please feel free to try the practice exercises in theenglishcorner.com, and answers will be provided. Thank you so much.